Hey everybody, it's Andrew here. Hey, I want to show you something real quick. This has been on my mind for a few days now, and I want to share it with you guys. But so many times you could think back when you was a little kid, or maybe not too long ago for some of us, we think back and we think about that rope swing when we was little that swung out into the river or into the creek or whatever we did. And what we'd do is we'd grab that rope swing and we'd grab onto it like this and we'd swing, but something would happen and we'd slide off of it before we got to the water, and we'd hit that bank or those rocks or whatever. And we didn't have nothing to hold on to. We'd just slide right off of it. And we'd start thinking of ideas and what we could do. And so there was no sure grip on there. So we had to come up with a solution so we wouldn't fall off. So what we'd do is we'd take this rope right here and we'd tie it in a knot just like this right here. And we'd tie us another knot in here. You'd have a loop in the bottom, then you'd have a knot right here. So when you went to grab that thing, you slid down in that knot and you had that firm foundation. You had that thing that would keep you from slipping off. And maybe you tie another knot in the top of it. You could put your feet around here and you had that sure foundation. You had that sturdiness. You had that security in the end of this rope right here. And your hands wouldn't slip off, your feet wouldn't slip off, and you would begin to swing out there and you'd let go and fall into the river, and it would be a good time. But if you didn't have that knot, you wouldn't have nothing to hold on to. It was unable to hold on to. Your hand would just slip right off. Well, I want to use this as an illustration into this life. This rope right here represents our life. And sometimes we just slide right through it, and we're unable to take control. We're unable to hold on, and we're unable to make it through life sometimes. And it begins to have a burden, and it begins to have a struggle, and it begins to have temptations and hard times. But there's something that we can do. We can tie this knot in life, and we can have that sure foundation. We can have that security at the end of this rope right here. And this knot right here represents Jesus Christ. And this knot in this rope is a K-N-O-T. But I want to give you some knots today that's going to help you out in your walk with the Lord. And they're N-O-Ts. The Bible tells us to fear not. Fear not. This world that we're living in, we don't need to fear of the adversaries and fear of Satan and fear of everything that's going on. We need to have fear in the Lord. That's the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. We need to have fear in the Lord, knowing that He loves us, and knowing that He's going to have judgment upon us. That if we wasn't to follow in His ways and begin to submit to His will, but we don't need to fear of things of this world. The Bible says we need to fret not. We don't need to fret not and worry about the things of this world, because sometimes we don't have control of things going on. We don't have control of things that are going overseas. We don't have control of things that are going into government. There's a lot of things in our life that we worry about, that we fret over, because we don't have control over it. What we do have control over is our walk with the Lord, and how close we are with God, and the time that we spend with the Lord, and raising up our children and being there for our spouses and our friends and our family. That's what we have control over. But we don't have control over a lot of things that we worry about day in, day out. Faint not. It's easy to get tired. It's easy to get beat down. You go through day-to-day life, working every single day to trying to make a living for your family. You come home, you go to ball practice, whatever it may be. You go to class, you go into school. You come home and you cook dinner, and you get the kids ready for school. You get everything ready for the next day. But the Bible tells us to faint not. That we have strength in the Lord. That we have strength in the Lord. That His anchor is steadfast and sure. That we know that no matter what storm comes, or no matter how trying and how hard life gets, that we have a secure foundation in the Lord. That we don't need to faint not. There's another one I want to leave you with, is forget not. We never need to forget about the one who was always there with us. You know, this life was never meant to live it on your own and to go through these problems alone. God never meant for it to be that way. We don't ever need to forget about the goodness and the grace that is offered to us through the cross of Calvary. We don't ever need to forget about the grace and mercy that Jesus Christ bestowed upon us and showed us on the cross of Calvary, even yet as we were still sinners. We don't never need to forget that when we are in our troublesome times, that when we're in perilous times, that when we're in the valley, that He is standing right there beside us. You know, the Bible says that He'll never forsake us and He'll never leave us, that He's always there. His arms are not shortened and his ears are not deafened. He can reach down and pull you up out of that mud. He can hear your cries just like he heard the cries of the Israelites as they were in bondage. We don't need to forget about what he has done for us so that we can have a foundation, a life, a way, and a promise. Let me tell you something today. Just as those kids and those people tied that knot in that rope, that K-N-O-T, to give them that foundation, to give them that strength, to give them that everything that they needed, we have knots in our life that we need to remember. Forget not, fret not, faint not, and fear not. Those are things that you can take with you on your journey through life. And you can apply them to your walk with the Lord. And you can put that security in your life. You can put that foundation right there and know that no matter what, that you have those knots that God gives us to go by. So I'll encourage you today that whatever you're going through in life, that if you take those knots and apply them to your life and know that God is God, that God is in control, no matter what, that he is standing right there beside you, willing to offer you help in your time of need. So approach that throne of grace boldly and ask for help in your time of need. And know that he is willing and able to go with you through your walk and your journey of life. I pray that this video will help you. And I pray that you remember those knots and remember that security and foundation that we have in Jesus Christ. God bless you, and I love you.